Devlog 3, I'm actually quite surprised. I even worked on the game enough to reach this milestone, but that's pretty cool. If you're new to the series or whatever, then hello. I'm working on a retro first-person movement shooter called Cult of Perdition. The first demo build for my game is now out. Yippee! You can download it on a Discord server I made. However, before you do, I'd like to say a few things, just so you know what to expect. This is the first build. It is extremely basic. There's just the first intro and level. There's also like 4 relics made. You can only use them in the test level. But don't worry though, that isn't staying. Like in the full game, which is in the far future, you'll have to unlock them slowly. So once you have a relic, you can go back to previous levels and then play as it. But for the sake of the playtests and just these first level, then I am just locking it. So yeah. There's also very little sound effects. Just a few so far. There's just basic player sound effects and a few guns, and that's it. The settings page is also incredibly basic. However, I did today I just added a sensitivity slider. This is pretty cool. What else? There's also a few glitches. Not like very major glitches so far. However, there is one that is quite rare, and it just randomly freezes. Just the whole game, just no more. I'm trying to find a way to fix that, but yeah, for now I just can't. So hopefully it doesn't happen to you while you're like speedrunning the level. The first proper topic I like to discuss is the enemies. I recently added a new enemy called the Bomber. How she works is she kind of just stands still, looking harmless, and tries to trick the player into coming close. However, if the player gets close enough, she'll just bolt straight towards you and proceed to explode. She deals 50 damage with a total health of the player of 100. Whenever I'm designing something in the game, I like to think of how does this tie into everything else. And for the case of the Bomber, her role is actually pretty important. If you've seen the second devlog, I mentioned an enemy called the Mole Men. However, I didn't see that the Mole Men fit in the style, so I kind of redesigned them. But the new creature to take their place of Grunt is, drum roll please, the Husk. The Husk is the opposite of the Bomber, and the reason why the Bomber is quite important. The Husk works alongside the Bomber. The Husk is fast, a little bit faster than the player actually. However, they are very slippery and easy to dodge. They work alongside the Bomber because they are crazy and very unpredictable. The Bomber you have to be careful of and not get close, but the Husks disturb this and make it harder to balance everything out. So you may think to yourself, well, that seems unfair, but I don't think so, because the Husks are really dumb, and avoiding the Husk is quite easy due to the fact that they slide around. The last enemy for this topic is a special one, and actually quite a hard one. It's quite beefy actually. It is called the Sentry. They are green, stronger husks basically, but instead of a torso, they just have a gun. They're they're just legs with like a little bit just gone, and then like a little bit of spine sticking out with just a gun on top. They are very slow and they don't move when they are shooting. However, if they can't see the player, then they'll walk into a spot where they can then see the player. However, they like to hide around corners sometimes. They don't drop ammo, but they do drop the gun that they were using. The gun, however, only has 1 bullet loaded, so you need to kill a bunch of other enemies to get the ammo needed. I also mentioned that, yeah, enemies drop ammo. Well, I made it so enemies can now drop ammo. Currently there are 5 guns in the game, and each one has a specific color to it, which you can tell by on the HUD where it displays your ammo. That will change color depending on the gun. Ammo drops will also have the color that matches the gun, so that way you know what it's for. The pistol is white, revolver orange, assault rifle light blue, shotgun's red, and SMG is lime green. I think I just hit my microphone. Oh well. Enemies will always drop just 1 bullet, and it's random type. It could be anything. But if the player has 2 or less bullets in the mag with 0 bullets left to reload, then enemies will specifically drop the type of ammo you need and will drop 5 instead of 1. However, you can screw this up if you miss a shot or something like that. and then you'll run out of ammo and you'll have to resort to meleeing, which is the new epic form of attacking. The melee is quite interesting because it gives you a boost forward. When you're meleeing and you're just on the ground, you just get like a subtle like little kick forward, I guess. But if you're in the air, you just get thrown, and you can time it with everything quite well. And that goes the same with the shotgun. The shotgun, if you're close up against a wall or on the floor and you shoot, it launches you. However, if you're standing on the floor, then the launching strength is not very strong. But if you're in the air, it's a good punch. Relics. Currently there's only 4 relics, but I did finish a cool new like relic builder. So if you go to a tab that displays all like just random levels or fun levels, there's one level there called the test track, and if you select on it, you'll see the relic menu. The relic menu will pop up right before every level, so you can tweak your setup, and if needed, then you can just hit done to enter the level. I reckon it's a pretty good design. How I design the relics is pretty interesting as well, so I thought I might mention some of the cool game design process. However, whenever I'm designing a relic, I think, okay, how can it tie into other relics and create interesting builds and synergy or whatever it's called? A good way to come up with ideas is to think of a relic and then think of how you can split it into multiple. So first let's think of a super simple idea. One that deals double damage, there you go. Now, how can we split it? If we make the relic hurt you whenever you shoot, then boom, it's already spiced up a little bit. We can then create another relic that is simple regeneration. So that already creates 2, and then we can create another relic that is like, I don't know, maybe it just buffs all passive effects, including regeneration. That's now 3 relics there, which already fills up almost all of the slot, which is actually quite good, which it leaves 1 empty slot, so you can have another relic to spice up the build. And yeah, it's good that I want most builds to fill up the whole slot, or at least just 1 less, so that way it makes the player think about what they're doing a little bit more and think about the build. So that way it's harder to come up with a good idea, but once you have one, it's going to be worth it. Once a build just works, it's quite fun, I have to admit. This is also another good thing, because I was quite worried that the relic system was just kind of tacky and just off to the side, but this spiced it up a little bit, and I think once more of the main levels are done and the whole relic system a little bit more fleshed out, I think it will be quite good. It also offers a nice way of progression, because guns are not permanent. They're not something that you can switch through. They are something that you just find on the floor. They are very disposable, the guns in my game. If you have any ideas for relics, do let me know. I think it'll be good to get the community involved. Levels. Like I said before, there's just 3 levels. So yeah, for the current playtest, we only got 3 levels. 1 intro level, one that it's kind of like a comic. It's very short. I need to fix it actually, because the way you read it is a little bad. And then 1 proper level that you can play through, and 1 test level where you can just stuff around. The test level obviously is just there so playtesters can learn the mechanics and master them for actual release in the far future. Actually, yeah, for actual release, if in the far future, like I said, I'll probably keep the test level, but I'll spice it up a little bit. It'll be in a similar style, but a bit more polished, obviously. And I'll make it not so much as like a sandbox level, but more as like the gauntlet in Titanfall 2, if you know that. Just a little area where you can play around in and time yourself. In the current test level, there's no speedrun timer. Well, sometimes it turns on, but it can't stop unless you leave the level, so you can't time yourself in that unless you use an actual timer like on your phone or something. There is a speedrun speedrun timer in level 1, so you can speedrun that if you want. It's pretty fun. The comic level, like I said, is classified as level 0. So if you're speedrunning against a friend or something, you just select level 1. You don't need to select level 2. If you are a speedrunning fiend and you'd like to see your time throughout the level and not just in the end, there is a setting where you can keep the timer on screen at all times. And also pausing the game does also pause the timer, so you don't have to worry about that. I wouldn't like to show a lot of the level, in fact a lot of the game in this devlog. Instead, I'd like for you to actually go ahead and try the demo for yourself. Just a heads up, the game is in very early stages, so if something does happen, then that is on you, as by downloading the game, you are aware that it is in early stages. It is buggy, so keep that in mind. It's not anything catastrophic though, so don't worry. Alright, so if you do wish to play it and try it out for yourself, then check the pinned comment for the Discord server link. It should be there. That's about everything I wanted to say. Yeah, bye bye.